Hello everyone, my name is Isle, and welcome to a professional match of StarCraft 2. In the top right corner, we have our red Terran player from Germany. He is HeroMarine. And in the opposite corner, our blue Zerg player from South Korea. He is Solar. We have today Solar versus HeroMarine on the map called Waterfall. Now, Waterfall is considered to be, I guess, slightly Terran favored. I mean, everyone's kind of saying this entire map pool is Terran favored, but you got this big waterfall running through, and I think what really helps is these kind of ledges that you have. So if you're a Terran player, you can put a bunch of nice siege tanks up here. You can defend your third, as well as getting a nice defense going into your natural. I think that's maybe a little bit of the early game. After that, it could be a little bit more difficult for your Terran player to take these outer bases. I mean, they still have some ramps, but yeah, I think Zerg towards the later game, they might be enjoying it a little bit more. Now, as for the players that we have, Solar, in my opinion, I mean, I've really enjoyed it, his playstyle, and as long as he isn't losing a bunch of broodlings to nukes, so if you don't know that's happened to him twice in major tournaments, where he's lost a huge amount of supply to a nuke that he just couldn't see the dot, or he'd thought that he'd gotten rid of the ghost before. So yeah, worth looking that up if you haven't seen that. If you're a Zerg player, don't look it up. It'll hurt your soul. If you're a Terran player, you will love it. So yeah, Solar's been a very good player, very strong and quite consistent. He always does well, and it's always nice to see him at a tournament like HomeStory Cup. The other side, we have HeroMarine, the biggest of all Gabes, a very, very popular Terran player, and he's been doing, I think, very well in 2022 so far. He's been winning, obviously, a lot of the ESL Open Cup, so those tournaments that are played weekly. I know that in a joke many people refer to it as the Big Gabe Weekly because he's won it so many times, but he's also been transferring that quite nicely over to the offline tournaments, and he's been doing really well in those too, playing some fantastic games. Yeah, he just plays a very solid style of Terran. He's very good, and I think a player that if you are, trying to improve your Terran, he's definitely worth a watch. The Reaper here at this stage is just kind of poking and prodding, and Solar's using the queens to fend him off. So we'll see a little bit about how this game goes. We'll see the tech that they're going for. At this stage, we just have Hellions going for a third CC and into the starport. Solar, on the other hand, he is just droning up, getting his third hatchery, and Zergling speed on the way. Now, before I get too in depth into this game, I first of all want to say a very, very big thank you to everyone for supporting this channel. I mean, these casts have been getting a lot of views, and it's actually it's really awesome. It's more than I expected for a lot of them. I mean, I'm just kind of out here having a good time and hoping to share some StarCraft and my very limited experience of StarCraft. I say that because I've been playing this for a while, but I've never hit a very high level, so you can get the average Joe's opinion on StarCraft. So yeah, thank you so much for that support. There's also been some great feedback in the comment sections, advice on my casting and stuff like that, and that's fantastic. I can always do with some helpful criticism to how I can make my content a little bit better. So yeah, thank you so much. Now, let's have a look at this game, and let's talk a little bit about Terran versus Zerg. This Ovi's just trying to have a look. He's going to be gunned down. Is he going to see Okay, so he gets to see the switch around the barracks and the factory. Meanwhile, here HeroMarine's roving aliens, they're just trying to deny the creep a little bit. But yeah, Terran versus Zerg has gone through stages where it's been Ling Bane Muta, and then there was a time when it was very popular to go into Roach pushes. I think Dark was doing a lot, Rogue was doing them a huge amount, and they were very successful. And I think at this point we've kind of stabilized into a point where the Zerg player is going Ling Bane, and then often that translates... Ooh, nice catch on the creep tumor there. Is he going to catch another one? He does. That's a good catch. Double Banshee here, by the way, for HeroMarine. Is there any detection? Yes, there it is. So those Banshees not going to be quite as effective, but still getting some work done there. 3 drones lost so far. Not too major, but those Banshees just going to have a bit of a fly around. Baneling speed is on the way, and everything seems to be kind of okay. We have +1 coming up for the Zerglings. Did he forget his armor? He has the resources. Maybe he just misclicked or something along those lines. Banshee's denying that base. Very nice work here by HeroMarine. Still denying some more creep. So yes, as I was saying, the Zerg players now are tending to go for that Ling Bane. Ooh, that's a good catch. And then into Ultralisks, which will leave to your Infestors. This could be a good run by. Okay, enough Zerglings to defend. And the Vipers will also be coming out. So Zerg relies very heavily on those late game spellcasters. Now, Terran responds mostly with their usual Marine, Marauder, Medivac, mostly with Marines, and then they'll have some siege tanks and some Widow Mines, you know, as a support. The end game is where there's been a lot of development in Zerg versus Terran. A lot of the end game now, let's have a look at what happens here. It should be all good. Yep, HeroMarine picks up and off he goes. Meanwhile, pushing in, stopping a little bit of creep. He's really trying hard to deny that creep. Doing a good job so far. Maybe I want to get a little bit more into the map. He's pushing now with the Marines and the Aliens. These Queens are a little out of place, but they should be fine. Meanwhile, Zergling run by on the other side. Well, single Zergling just having a look and getting splattered. So yes, the Terran's late game target is to go for that Ghost Mech transition. So as we approach the late game and they have their minerals, their resources up and coming, they tend to go into Ghosts. After the Ghosts, they will then transition into a mech army, trading out their bio units, replacing them with things like Thors, and this is shown to be quite a strong playstyle. I mean, I think Maru has really been at the forefront of this development, and he's just become really hard to kill. That is a big pickle for Solar. At the same time, HeroMarine running into the right. Could get a bit of damage done on this base. Now at this stage it's just going to go for the Queens, getting rid of the Overlords. Zergling's coming to wrap around. He's going to have to pick up, and off he goes. Hydras are out, so that's going to help to defend against these drops. Are they going to get any damage? No, it's just a single Hydra. Should be fine. But yeah, so that Ghost Mech transition is very strong, and it allows the Terran to be very, very strong defensively and very hard to break. These Zergs are having to respond with things like Broodlords, which is a little bit tricky because the Ghost counters most of the Zerg late game units. It counters all the spellcasters because of its EMP ability, and it also counters things like Ultralisks, because Ultralisks just die in a couple of snipes. It counters the Broodlords because snipe once again. So Zerg's are having to be quite creative with dealing with this insane mech ghost late game army, excuse me. Picks off the Banshee there, but that's alright. So we'll see what these two do, and we'll see if HeroMarine decides to go in that direction, Obviously, if the game gets that far. But here's a look at this map. So you've got these siege tanks on this ledge. This means that HeroMarine can run up and down here, deal with this creep, while being quite protected by his siege tanks. Okay, he didn't lose too much there. So a good little position there. Two Marines being very brave. Still stopping the creep, trying to stop it from getting through this choke point. If it gets through that choke point, it does become a lot harder for the Terran player. Meanwhile, we do see the what's the thing called? The lurker den. I forgot the name. We see that coming up. We see the upgrades coming up. +1, no, that's +3, excuse me. And +2 for the ship weapons. Now, here it is. We see the ghosts coming up for HeroMarine. That's a very, very good unit comp. So, at this stage, lurkers by the way, are also countered quite nicely by those ghosts. So, yeah, Zerg has to be quite creative with it. Now the counter to the ghost, those very dangerous ghosts, oh, look there, snipes going down, just getting rid of them, is actually banelings and, well, lings. So you have to resort to those basic units. But it's a very intricate balance because tanks love getting rid of those units, and even well-controlled Marines like people like HeroMarine can do. They split and they control those extremely well. So yeah, we'll have to have a look to see if Solar can stop that late game spread. We see the enhanced shockwaves ability coming up. He's got a good push here. Vipers coming in, putting down a bunch of blinding clouds, getting those siege tanks, a couple of good yoinks there. Hydra's dealing with them, and this base is in trouble. Meanwhile, a bunch of banelings running through. That's 15 SCVs going down. But HeroMarine's going to chase this away. Okay, so he should be okay. He's lost a lot of workers, so now he's down on workers, but he does have mules. I wanted to mention it, but he had 69 workers for a while there. Sorry, I'm still a child. Base coming up here for the Zerg. This is spotted by the sensor tower, so HeroMarine's going to want to put on some pressure there at some stage. That is a large Zerg army. A lot of lings, a lot of banes, bunch of hydras. Is he going to be going into the lurkers yet? HeroMarine, yep, very aware of that Nidus network, so he's been ferrying those Marines across to try to stop the Nidus. You see Solar pushing in again. Banelings coming up, getting a couple of hits on those ghosts. The rest of the ghosts are running for their lives, and that is 14 more workers down. HeroMarine has some liberators up, but that is a lot of damage that he's been taking. He does drop mules again, trying to fill up this base, trying to mine some resources from it. These liberators are going to help a lot. He's going to try to push his tanks into this position as well. But yeah, this is the position where it gets quite difficult. Terran really needs this base, but it's not so easy to hold. It's a nice entry point for the Zerg player. Solar meanwhile just roaming up and down. So yeah, I've really been enjoying HeroMarine's playstyle. He is a very active player, constantly sending out medevacs, constantly pushing. Yeah, he's really strong. Solar at this stage in this game, he seems to be doing really well. He seems to have HeroMarine pinned up a little bit. Slide pusher, nice lurker to defend, that'll be very helpful. Yeah. Ooh. Okay, transfusing. Does he keep it alive? No, he doesn't. That's a good pick off there. Meanwhile, Solar moving around. Bunch of ghosts coming out. Okay, they're ready to move out and get a little bit of damage done. They ideally want to get rid of the Viper energy. Blinding clouds coming down. A couple of pulls there on the Liberators. They go down. This is a lot of damage. There are still the ghosts remaining. That's the important unit. HeroMarine wants to keep them alive. 6 more SCVs fall, but that is defended. At the same time, these Marines, they're still just trying to pick off this creep. They're probably going to get taken down by the Zerglings now. We see +3 Carapace, +3 vehicle upgrades, vehicle weapons for HeroMarine, so he's in a good spot upgrade wise. Solar's not in a bad spot, he's got his +2 missile coming up. This Zerg, this creep is so annoying. We see another Nidus. Is this going to be effective? HeroMarine sending up a couple of tanks. That's one way to deal with it. He's got a tank well positioned here to defend against those. Pushing onto the space, he does get rid of it. But here comes the Zerg again. This is a relentless push. Couple of ghosts falling. Okay, so that command center will live. The SCVs will not. Still a big Terran on, but that's 24 more SCVs. HeroMarine did get some good damage done on this side. But yeah, at this stage it's looking a bit tricky. Now, Terran is a lot more cost effective. I mean, that's a lot more minerals down. The gas, not so much. They're quite even on the gas lost, but Zerg and Solar, what he's doing here is he's just throwing wave after wave at this base and making it hard for HeroMarine to defend it. We've got them coming in again. This is a huge army. Good EMP goes down on that Viper. Banelings coming in very strong. I think this might be too much. GG is called. Solar takes the game. So very interesting game there. Nice approach there. Solar just overwhelming before HeroMarine can really get into that very dangerous ghost mech. I hope you enjoyed this game. Thank you so much for watching, and if you do enjoy the cast, you want to see more, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting content regularly, either casting or my own ladder games, just so we can have a comparison. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and if you have any games that you want me to cast or anything that you think I really should, just be sure to drop it in the comments. I really appreciate all the support, so thank you once again, and I will see you in the next one.